Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Letting Go of Her podcast. Before I get started, I do have to say, because I didn't realize how quickly summer was creeping up on us. Last year, I did take a break during the summer months because at that point, I had both my kids at home. And I really just wanted to be present, not really having to worry about recording an episode or really throughout my week thinking of what am I going to talk about this week? And, how can I turn this into a learning experience or whatever? So, I decided that I'm going to go ahead and do that again this year. I'm going to go ahead and take off, the summer months. So that means that my last episode will be on June 6th, which I believe is still 4 weeks away, 4 weeks away. And then I won't be coming back until September 5th. So it is going to be a long 3 months, but I think a long 3 months where I can kind of reflect and refresh and come back with just new convictions, and new teachings and new things that I'm learning from the Lord. And I will just kind of keep reminding you, hey, 3 more weeks till the last episode, 2 more weeks, 1 more week. This is the last episode, and that I will be coming back in September. So I am excited for the summer months. We had a lot of fun last summer, and I'm honestly just kind of over school. And I'm not even the one going to school, but, just doing the homework and studying for the different tests and packing the lunches and waking up. Well, no, because regardless of whether my kids go to school or not go to school, they're still going to wake up early, but having to get up and rush, me having to get out of bed at a certain time, right? Because I have my alarm set up, and I normally wake up before my alarm, but I have my alarm set up for 7 a.m. And if I'm not out of bed at 7 a.m., we're going to be late. So I'm just, ready for rest and ready for not the chaos and ready for having really no agenda. We did end up getting the LA Zoo pass. So we'll probably go to the zoo a few times. I don't know. It gets really hot, so probably not. But we'll probably make 1 or 2 trips out there just to get our money's worth from the pass, right? But, there's no real big plans. My husband is probably going to go back to work sometime during the summer. So yeah, no big vacations for us. We're not really big vacation people. Quite frankly, this is going to sound weird, but I don't really like leaving my home for long amounts of time. Have we taken vacations? Yes, but it's not really our thing, traveling is not really, our thing. We are homebodies. We enjoy being home. We enjoy just lounging on the couch, watching movies and just kind of spending time together. We'll probably go to the beach a few times here and there. I don't know, but, no, honestly, no real big plans, no big real agenda. Summer is just a time for us to kind of refresh and just kind of reflect. But anyways, today's episode, I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of a life update. I feel that it's been strong episode after hard episode after strong after hard after crying after whatever. And so I just kind of want to make this a chill episode, just kind of updating hey, this is what's been going on in my life. This is the little things that the Lord has been teaching me. And yeah, there's not really a big agenda. So sorry if this is boring. Sorry if you want to opt out of it now. But I think just sharing even the small wins, can honestly just show the goodness of God. So in February or so, I started eliminating things out of my diet. I noticed that as I'm getting older, things just don't really settle well with my stomach. I'm not able to digest things as easily as I was before. Also, your metabolism starts to slow down, right? And I had weighed myself kind of at the end of February, and I had been the heaviest I have ever been without being pregnant, because I don't count that as being, I don't count that on my weight because I was pregnant, but I was the heaviest I had ever been without being pregnant. And I'm not really someone who, let's see, necessarily cares about like weight or what it says on a scale, but I am a person who cares about how I feel. And I just wasn't feeling good. I was very just fatigued. Everything was just like bothering and hurting my stomach. I felt like I had no energy. Honestly, like I was out of breath. I was out of shape, right? I would like be mopping my floors and I would be like, like huffing and puffing. And I'm like, that is not okay that I can't even mop my own floors and like not feel like I need to sit down right after, right? Like even just like going back and forth from putting laundry away into the, different bedrooms and different sections. And I would be like out of breath and I'd be so tired. And I'm like, that is not okay, right? So I decided to start to make slow changes. I started to eliminate things from my diet. And I started off with eliminating all processed sugar. So no sweets whatsoever. Basically, the only sugar that I got was from fruit. And I thought it would be a lot harder than it actually was. But I did very decently well with eliminating the sugar. And I did go through the whole like sugar detox thing, right? The irritability and the headaches because, sugar is an addictive drug is what it is. So I eliminated all of that. And, what I started to feel, I don't know. I don't want to say that I started to feel better because I didn't. But kind of like right after I did that, I started to get really, really, really bad acid reflux. And like I've dealt with heartburn before, but I've never dealt with acid reflux this bad. Like it was literally like, this is going to be TMI, but like coming out of my throat all warm and still and tasting what I had eaten that day. Like I would be laying down and it would just, regurgitate itself out and be warm and it burned my throat. And it was just not a very, very fun feeling. And my stomach just felt like off. It just felt like, unbalanced. It didn't feel good. And honestly, this started to give me a lot of anxiety because I started to get anxiety over eating because I was afraid that whatever I would eat would like bring this feeling again. So for a while, like I would say like a good, like, I don't know, 3 weeks, I couldn't eat. I was eating. I was forcing myself to eat, but like I couldn't eat because I was so afraid that whatever it was that I was eating was going to bring me back these symptoms. And so at that point, I started going on like a massive elimination diet. I pretty much did like, if you've ever seen like the Whole30 / paleo kind of diet, I eliminated all processed sugar. I eliminated all gluten. I eliminated all grains. I eliminated all like beans, lentils, that sort of stuff. Basically, all I was eating was like eggs, vegetables, proteins, and fruit. And that was it. And like only water, nothing else. And I don't know if it was like a sort of detox process from my own body or just me and my, my mentality, but I was having really bad anxiety. And whenever I would like have a food that wasn't on this like 30-day list, I would get anxiety because I'd be like, oh no, this is going to make my stomach hurt. Oh no, this is going to bring back my acid reflux. Oh no, I'm going to feel those feelings again. And it was getting pretty bad. And I was honestly like a little bit embarrassed to talk about it because like, how do you explain to someone that like you have anxiety over eating, right? When like, you need to eat, and if you don't eat, it's only going to cause you more anxiety. But I was having anxiety over eating because I was afraid that I was going to get that like nasty acid reflux feeling all over again. And, throughout this time, I was like invited to go out to eat, and I would order something off the menu that I knew that I'd be able to eat. But If something was like a little off, or I knew something had like a little bit of added sugar or something, or cooked in the wrong oils. I wasn't like super, super 100% strict, but I was for the most part. I wasn't going to deny an invitation to go out to eat because I was eating out with new people, getting to know different people, and I wasn't going to say no. So I would go and I would order something as close to, whatever list I could possibly make it. But when something would be off, I would be eating, and then I would just get massive anxiety because it'd be like, oh no, here it comes. Here comes the acid reflux. Here comes the burping. Here comes the regurgitation. Here comes all the things. And I really pray and hope that, the people that I was having lunch with didn't notice my anxiety spiking. And if they did, well, I hope they forgive me for acting a little weird. But this was just what I was dealing with for honestly, for the last couple of weeks. And what's funny, and it's not funny, but it is funny. But when you have increased anxiety, it can cause acid reflux symptoms. So I personally think that I was only making my acid reflux worse because I was thinking that my acid reflux was bad, therefore actually making my acid reflux bad. That's funny, right? It's not funny. And I just had to keep reminding myself, you know what? I'm only making it worse myself, right? Is this going to suck? Yes. Am I going to have to stop eating certain things? Definitely. But I don't have to make it as bad as I am making it as of right now. And, honestly, I was praying a lot. I was praying over my stomach being healed. I was praying over my anxiety being healed. I was just praying that I could get over this, right? Because me not eating wasn't going to help anybody in any shape or form. And I knew that I had to do something about it. And then I started getting anxiety over just having the anxiety, right? Because it was oh no, is my anxiety getting bad again? This feels like it's worse, so worse that I can't even eat. And then, the enemy likes to sneak in. And whenever you're having moments of doubt and whenever you're feeling shame, this is where he starts to prowl, and this is where he starts to devour you. And the enemy kept whispering, it's because you quit therapy. It's because you're not seeing your therapist anymore. This is what happened the last time you quit therapy, and then it got really bad. And now you've quit therapy, and now guess what? It's getting bad again. And I remember at one point while I was praying at night, I was like, God, should I have not given up my therapist? Should I have not quit? Do I really need to call her back to tell her I can't eat because I have anxiety over eating? That sounds ridiculous, right? And I was like, but there's no, I felt so lost, but at the same time I felt so confused because it was do I really need my therapist back? I can't I can't get over this without her, right? I'm not going to be able to get over a bad season of anxiety without my therapist. I'm no, that doesn't make any sense, right? I quit my therapist because I really felt led by the Lord to quit. And it really felt like this was just another test for me to be able to trust the Lord, right? And I was battling with that in my head, just over and over, Lord, what do I do? I don't want to go back to therapy, right? But I also can't live with not eating because it's only making my anxiety worse. And so I kept just praying and praying and praying. And it wasn't God, help me get rid of this anxiety, but it was more God, help me trust you in knowing that you're doing what's right for my body, and that at the end of the day, this is just going to make me feel better, right? Because I was tired. I would be, I would spend my nights crying to the Lord, Lord, I'm so tired. Lord, my stomach hurts. Lord, this is just not comfortable. And I was, I would tell my husband, do people just live like this? Do people just eat whatever they want and just suffer the consequences later? Because this feels horrible. I don't want to feel sick 24/7. I don't want to be in pain 24/7. I don't want to feel this way 24/7, right? And so I kept praying to the Lord, Lord, help me. What do I do? How can I make myself better? How can I not feel like this all the time? And I went through that really bad time of acid reflux, which, I decided that I was just going to try and eliminate as much as I could from my diet and eat a clean diet. And that's what I've been doing since the end of February. I started off slow, and then I did 1 month of like super, super intense. And I'm not going to say that I am 100% better, because I'm not. But I will say that I am about 75% better. But not only just like body wise, energy wise, stomach wise, it's also like anxiety wise. I don't feel as anxious anymore when I eat. Sometimes I still do. Sometimes I still freak out, but very slowly. I am just trusting my body, but also just, trusting that even if something that I eat does give me anxiety, that the Lord will see me through it. And I just wanted to share that, because it's just weird. Like, so many times people think that anxiety only comes from like fear, right? Like fear of the future or fear of the unknown or wanting to be in control. But anxiety can manifest itself in so many different ways. And for me, it was coming out as like not being able to eat because I was afraid of getting acid reflux, right? And it sounds crazy saying it out loud, but I feel that saying it out loud is what is needed for those who might be suffering the same way. Maybe not because you're afraid you're going to get acid reflux, but maybe you get anxiety from the most random, most little things, and you're afraid to speak up and you're afraid to say anything. And honestly, you might be afraid to even admit it to God. Like, maybe you just don't want to say like, God, like this kind of makes me be fearful. This kind of makes me a little anxious, but I know that it shouldn't, because it's something so mundane, right? It's something that we do every day. But still, I am feeling this way. So Lord, like, see me through it. Lord, help me through it. And I hope that, just this little story of me sharing of dealing with anxiety over eating because I had acid reflux, can just help someone else just open up. And I am, so grateful that the Lord saw me through it. And yes, I finished the whole 30 days. I finished it last Monday, maybe. I don't really know. I did cheat twice-ish, sort of. I just had some cookies because I was at a birthday party and the mom makes the most delicious cookies, so I had to have some. And guess what? It didn't give me acid reflux. Like, I was fine. But I did notice, energy levels dropping a little bit and not feeling just so good afterwards. And so, am I going to continue to eat like this? Probably, but I'm not going to be as restrictive, as I was, because even just being restrictive was giving me anxiety, because I'd be like, oh no, I can't eat this, or no, don't cook with that, and, my husband would be cooking for me and I'd be like, no, don't use that oil, use this one, and it just became a little complicated. So, I do plan on keeping like a clean, diet, still kind of watching what I'm eating, but, also if I want to just kind of indulge in something here or there, that I will, and just, allowing my body to eat that and hopefully it not giving me anxiety. But yes, I did end up losing weight. And honestly, I think the majority of my weight was just because I couldn't eat for like 3 weeks. I was essentially just like starving myself. And now my weight has, kind of plateaued, but I am still like, I don't want to say on the heavier side, but I am still not where I should be weight wise. So I'm going to continue to work on that. I have been going to the gym more, or at least trying to be more consistent. And yeah, I just think that, for so long I had been battling with just like, body image issues and with like my eating habits. And, I'm grateful that the Lord has shown me a way that makes my body feel good. I didn't want my like body image issues or my obsession with my weight or my obsession with like how I was eating to become an idol. So I pretty much just surrendered and gave it all to God. And I said, you know what? I know that I'm getting older, and I know that things are not going to work the same anymore. I know that, I shouldn't be eating these things, right? Like, eating these things are not, one, good for you, and two, just don't make you feel good. So, throughout my time of me trying to eliminate everything, I was praying constantly over, like, Lord, help me find food that nourishes my body. Help me find food that makes me feel good. Help me feel good. Help me find food. Jeez. Help me find food that is going to make me, have energy. That's going to allow me to keep up with my kids. It's going to allow me to just feel good again. And I feel that slowly I have been finding what I can and can't eat. And I think mainly my main point of this whole podcast is just that, even in the most simplest things, and even in the things where you don't really bring God into, God will be there, and God will see you through it, and God will walk you through it. I never really truly thought of bringing God on my fitness journey, or my, my elimination diet journey. I never thought of that. It was just okay, I feel like crap and I want to feel better, so this is what I'm going to do, right? But it just shows you how we need God through every little thing, and we can bring it up to him no matter what our frustrations are, or no matter what our concerns are, or no matter what our doubts are. You can be like, God, I don't really know what to eat right now. Everything I'm eating just doesn't make me feel good. So help me, and it's not I woke up one morning and had a full list, and, he wrote out a list of okay, this is what you should eat and you shouldn't eat. No, I had to figure it out. But I know that God gave me the strength to, one, be able to eliminate everything, right? Because there's sugar and grains and gluten and so many things, right? And so many of the most common things that we eat. And, he gave me the strength to be able to say no, to certain things, and, helped with not craving certain stuff, right? And helped me with not having anxiety over eating stuff, and gave me the strength to say yes to going out to lunch, even though I knew I was going to have riddling anxiety over what I could and couldn't eat. And I was, I've been able to meet more people and build on relationships and stuff. So I know that there is a purpose for everything that we go through. And as silly as my journey with acid reflux and my journey of elimination diet sounds, I know that there's been a purpose for it all. And I guess my second point is, when we're doing good and when we obey the Lord, the enemy is going to try and tell us that we did wrong and that we should disobey. The Lord told me to let go of my therapist and to put my full trust in him, and I did. And the enemy said, nope, your anxiety is getting worse. Look at you. You can't even eat. You need your therapist back. And I have said, nope, I'm not listening to you. And I'm learning to give this to God, as uncomfortable as it feels, and as much as I don't want to feel the anxiety, I know that pushing it away isn't going to help in any shape or form. So when I am feeling anxious, I just give it to the Lord, and I say, God, I'm feeling anxious over me eating a hamburger right now, right? The enemy's telling me that I can't even eat a hamburger, that I need a therapist. But that's a lie. That is a lie, and he's trying to get back into my head. So you know what? I'm going to enjoy this hamburger. And if I do feel sick, well, then I feel sick. And then later I know that I shouldn't be eating hamburgers. But right now, I'm going to sit here and enjoy this meal with my friends. And I'm going to give this anxiety to you, because my life is in your hands. Don't let the enemy find sneaky ways to come back into your life, to come back into your mind, and to just drown you with those thoughts of shame and guilt. Because he only wants to see you fail. but you just give it to God, because with God you will win. So my prayer for today is to remember God even in the most mundane things, to remember God in every little detail of our life, because He has thought of every little detail in our life. So things like, I don't know what to eat today, or I'm not feeling so good, or should I work out, or should I do these things, right? Like, bring it to God, and bring it to Him, and He will answer that for you. And I just pray that you know that those thoughts of shame and of guilt, and those thoughts that are just negative, and those thoughts that just don't make you feel good, that they do not come from the Lord. Today, I am learning to let go of some embarrassment, of thinking that God can't see me through little things, of thinking that God can't walk me through just the mundane stuff. I'm learning to bring Him into every little aspect of my life, as silly as it might seem to me, but He created me this way, and He figured out step by step how my day would go. And to Him, these things are not silly. To Him, He is grateful that we come to Him for everything, because I am a new creation.